Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. I'm Michael Chabot, and I'm here to tell you that there will always be challenges in life, and in some cases, like mine, tragedies. But human beings are resilient. All you need to do is make a decision today. Follow me on this journey to hope, and together we will live, we will learn, and we will grow. And hopefully, we will find some hope in every day. Welcome to my journey to hope. How hockey saved my life. After my daughter died, I was in shock. I was hopeless. I was in a deep, dark hole. And let me frame this episode by saying that all of my best friends that I have in life, all of my close relationships are from hockey, either from my playing all these years or from coaching. We've become really good friends with some of the families from the kids that I coach as well. The day of my daughter's passing, the captain of the team that I play for called me in tears, in shock, and asked me if he could come by. And he came to my house, and he hugged me. Just this deep, soul-soothing hug. And we cried together. We drank some whiskey together, and we cried some more. And he said, "I will stay here as long as you need me. I will be here for you for whatever you need." And let me tell you, he far surpassed his promise to me. To this day, he still lives up to that promise. He's been there for me in so many ways he will never know. And I truly will never be able to repay him for all the support, all the love, and just everything he has done for me, big and small. That day my daughter passed, my best friend, he had had knee surgery. And he is the one person that I really wanted to call, but I didn't because I knew he had surgery and I didn't want to bother him, right? And when he finally called me, I remember I was talking to another friend, and when the phone rang, I felt like this anxiety because I needed to talk to him. I needed to tell him. And when I answered the phone, he was already in tears. And it's really probably the first time that I let it all out. The first time since we sat in the chapel, in the hospital, and the doctor came in and told us that our daughter had passed away. And he and I on the phone cried together. And he told me, he said, "Look, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to help you, but all I know is that I will be here for you no matter what you need, whether it's to scream, to cry, to laugh, to curse, whatever that might be." And in that moment, he helped me more than he will ever know. So many of our friends rallied around us. I truly was overwhelmed by their love and by their generosity. Prior to my daughter's death, I think I'd become quite the pessimist. You know, everything you read and everything you see on the news and on social media is just about how the world has become just this ugly, dangerous place. And I was blown away by, I like to call them, my hockey family. The love and support that they showed my family. The way that they held us up with their love. I don't know what else I would have done without them. I don't know that my family would have survived without them. These are some of the most amazing people in the world, and it gave me hope. And I talked about this at my daughter's funeral when I spoke, and it gave me hope. It gave me hope that there are some wonderful people still in this world that will put aside their own wants and needs and truly serve others from a place of just the most unselfish place there is. Sorry, that's really the word that comes to mind, is just unselfishness. They just put everything aside for my family. I mean, the rink that I've been playing at since I think it opened in 93, 94 or something like that. You know, it's where I've been playing for years now, coaching for about the last 7, 8 years, something like that. They rallied around us. They held a tribute for my daughter. They made sweatshirts in her honor. One of my buddies that I've known forever, he did helmet stickers with my daughter's initials and had all the players put them on. The team that I was assistant coaching at the time, you know, our entire club got purple laces and purple tape because that was my daughter's favorite color to honor my family. One of the things that really blew me away was the captain of my team that I play for. Unbeknownst to me, so there's a bar in the rink, and of course, hockey players, we play hard and we drink hard, right? We like to drink beer and hang out afterwards. Unfortunately, I can't drink beer anymore because I developed a gluten intolerance. And yes, my buddies who I play with give me a hard time about it all the time. But in the bar, after my captain heard of what had happened, he asked all the boys from all different teams, and I say boys, I mean men, but we call each other boys because we never truly grow up, do we? And he asked all the boys to dig deep for me and my family. Whatever you can give, guys. $1, $5, $10, whatever it is. I didn't know he was doing it, and he came to my house and he handed me this envelope of cash, and there were thousands of dollars in that envelope. And I cannot tell you how moved I was. You know, my parents raised me to be independent, self-sufficient, proud, and I don't like to take charity, but I was so blown away by their generosity. And listen, as a side note, here's what I want to say to you. Funerals are damn expensive. I still get hospital bills today on top of everything else, like, oh, this was from the ER doctor that we billed your insurance, but this is the balance that you still owe. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars, and I have really good insurance, right? So for these guys to do this for my family, and this was some guys that I don't know, that I've played against for years, probably guys that on the ice don't like me very much and think I'm a son of a bitch because I play the game hard. These guys dug deep. And I asked my captain, I said, you know, I want to thank everybody. Please tell me. And he said, no, that was one of the things we said. It's not about what you gave. And he said, look, some guys gave $5, $2, whatever they had in their pocket. Some guys threw in a couple $100. This is the type of thing that I'm talking about. This is the type of what I like to call brotherhood in the game of hockey. This is one of the ways that hockey saved my life. Let me say this. If you haven't ever played ice hockey, playing hockey is like no other sport. I've played a lot of sports growing up. I played soccer, basketball, baseball, football. I raced motocross. I raced BMX. For those of you that are young listening to this, it's a bike. Kind of like a mountain bike, but smaller. I surfed, karate, kickboxing. I always like to challenge myself. I like sports. But let me tell you, nothing compares to hockey. It feels to me like the closest thing there is to flying, or what I would imagine it feels like to fly. Gliding down the ice, your jersey flowing behind you, the wind in your face, a puck on your stick, there truly is nothing better. You truly feel alive. It just does something to the spirit. It's really inexplainable unless you've played the game. I like to say to everybody, it's a 60-minute pure escape. You don't think about anything but that damn puck, the players you're playing with and against, and putting that puck in the net. it truly is an escape. It's an escape from everything that's on your mind. And this is how I say hockey saved my life, because I would go to the rink and of course I would feel down and I would feel anxious, because inevitably somebody would say, "Hey man, I heard your story. How you doing?" And that would like cut like a knife, like just a knife in my heart, because I'm there to escape. And I didn't get upset with them. I understand they're asking me because they care. They truly wanted to love me and help me, and they had concern. And going through the ritual, the locker room is part of the fun. In the room with the boys, joking, some foul language, some fun stuff. You cut down each other and laugh about it. Just I missed that and I needed it. I needed to get back to it so I could feel some sort of normalcy in my life, right? Because I'll tell you this, guys, when my daughter passed away, one of the things I kept saying to myself, to my therapist, was, how the hell am I ever going to have any type of a normal life again? And it's funny when I sit here while recording this and I say that word, is what really is normal? Normal's right now. Normal is what we're living through. Whatever we're experiencing in the moment, it's whatever definition we give it. Don't let society give you your definition of normal. You create it. Whatever that is, you own it. So back to the game, back to hockey, back to the escape that it gave me. You step on that ice, you feel the crunch of the ice beneath your blades. You just smell the ice, that cold, crisp air. You take your first couple of strides over to the bench, you put down your extra stick, your water bottle, and then you jump on the ice and you start to warm up the body. And that's where it happens. The mind just kind of becomes hyper-focused. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie. It was For Love of the Game with Kevin Costner. And it was a baseball movie. He was a pitcher. And I remember because I'm a Yankees fan, sorry. And he's pitching against the Yankees, and there's all this noise and people yelling at him because they're playing in Yankee Stadium. And then he says, "Tune the mechanism." And all of a sudden, like, everything goes quiet, and he's focused on just the catcher's mitt, right? This is exactly, for me, what happens when I take the ice. Take those first few strides. The mind becomes focused. I start thinking about my game and what are my 3 objectives or 3 missions that I want to accomplish in that game. I want to be hard on the forecheck, right? I don't want to give anybody time who I'm playing against. For those 60 minutes, I want to make that guy's life miserable. I want him to remember that he lined up and played against me. I want to make sure that I get my head up and make crisp passes. And I want to make sure that when I'm shooting the puck that I shoot hard. That's my goal. Hockey is the greatest form of therapy for me that I've ever found. And I recently was telling my therapist this. I said, after my daughter passed away, I was numb for months. I was numb probably for the first 4 to 6 months before it really hit me. And when it hit me, it came like an avalanche. And I thank God that I had the game of hockey, my friends that I've grown to love as brothers that I've played with, because hockey's like war. It's like going into battle. And you create this bond. And it's funny, on a side note, there are guys that I've battled against for years that I've hated, that I've actually had physical fistfights with, not anymore because I'm older and more mature, but when I was in my 20s, those guys have become some of my best friends. My best friend will tell you, he's like, "Man, I hated you. You were such a pest. You were just like a gnat in my face all the time." And I didn't care for him very much either because he played the game hard and physical like I did. Now he's my best friend. We speak every day. Every day we speak. He's like my brother. I know for a fact that there's no way without these people in my life that I wouldn't have made it. And then it's the families, the friends that we've made from the children that I coach, and they've become some of our best friends. 2 of the families that came to the hospital first when my daughter passed away that we called, that heard the news, were friends that we've made from hockey. Some of the greatest people I've ever met who, again, like I said earlier, they put everything aside, their own lives on hold for us for as long as we needed them to. It's very humbling. And I'm a religious guy, and I don't want to make this about religion, but I think it's God who speaks through people. And I think in moments like that, God speaks to people. And I sit here and I think about it, and it makes me emotional because these people showed us and cared for us and smothered us with so much love. And in the moment, you're like, God, I don't deserve this. I'm not this good of a person. And that's what I'm talking about. These are the type of people that you meet from the game of hockey. I can tell you this. I will play hockey for the rest of my life, or at least until my body will allow me to. And I just want to say, I don't know if I'd still be here without hockey. There were days that I went to bed and I would ask God, please, God, just take me in my sleep. I don't think I can face tomorrow. Hockey just kept me going. It reminded me what it felt like to live. I would have moments of escape. And it's funny. So I was coaching. When my daughter passed away. Not that day. I was coaching. I was an assistant coach on a team. And I only missed 1 week. So she passed on a Thursday. We had a game on a Sunday. Believe it or not, my son played. I didn't, but I went back the next week. The next week of practices, I was on the ice. And I could see the kids at the time were 12 and 11-year-olds. In hockey, we call them peewees, or 12U now is the politically correct way to say it. And I could see in their eyes the love, the concern. I could see they were hurting for me. And it's interesting because I wanted to help them, right? I'm dying inside. My heart is broken in 1,000 pieces. I'm bleeding on the inside of emotions. And yet here are these 11 and 12-year-old boys who are looking at me with this love and compassion. And they all came up to me. Hi, coach. Hi, coach. How are you, coach? How can you not feel love from that? How can that not inspire you? This is why I'm just blown away by the game, by the people. And you listen to professionals and they say the same thing about our game and the game and how it's just such an amazing sport. And I've met other parents who said, yeah, my son's played this sport, that sport, this sport, that sport. And I've never met such a group like hockey. And maybe it's because it takes so much time and dedication. Maybe it's because we spend so much time in the rink in the cold that the only way to warm up is through your heart. I don't know, but whatever it is, it's magic. 2 weeks after my daughter passed, I took my son to Colorado. We had a hockey tournament for President's Day that was planned. And I asked him, do you want to go? And he said, yeah, Pops, I want to go. So I told my wife, look, he wants to go. I think it's good for him. I don't want to go, but I have to take him. I have to. And I will tell you, to date, it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. The first was seeing my daughter after she passed away in the ER. No parent should ever have to see their child in that state. It's funny, on a side note, I don't run away from that memory. I don't run away from that image. I gain strength from it. There are days when I sit in silence and breathe, and I can see it right now as I close my eyes, like it was right in front of me, happening in the moment. But I don't run from it because I know that in order for me to really, truly move forward in life, I have to feel that pain. I have to work through that pain and gain strength from that pain. The second hardest thing I've had to do in my life this far is speak at my daughter's funeral. I wrote something which I'm very proud of, but let me tell you, to stand up there and read that, it was like an out-of-body experience. I can't explain it. And we had a video made of the entire day because someday we'll watch it. I haven't watched it yet, but someday I will, because that's part of the healing process. And so again, the third hardest thing I've had to do in my life was take my son to a hockey tournament. And I think we left on like February 15th, which was only 7 days after my daughter passed away. So I guess it was actually not even 2 weeks. It was about a week and a half. And he and I flew to Colorado. And we went and stayed at the hotel with all the families. And I know that every family that was there was blown away that I even showed up. And I know that they were all hurting for me. I saw it in their eyes, but they just loved me. At every moment, they just loved me. Whether it was inviting me to dinner or for some drinks or just sit down and chat, it really, really helped me. And of course, just being back in the action, being with the kids, being on the ice. We do dry land warm-ups before we play. And I remember the first morning we were there was some snow on the ground. It was sunny. It was like in the 30s. It reminded me of when I was a kid growing up in New Jersey, right? And most of these kids from California, they never get to see snow. So for them, it was like, wow, they were really blown away. And this is what I say to everybody. That tournament was good for both of us. And if you're wondering, I didn't leave my wife and my oldest daughter home alone. My parents, her parents, my sister, they all stayed at the house with them. She definitely had love and support holding her up too. And it's funny, I told my wife, I saw a little life return to my son's eyes that day. You see, he was home with my wife when my wife found my daughter, his best friend, his protector. I can't imagine what the two of them go through on a daily basis. I sit here today and record this from my daughter's room, where she was. I can't imagine. He was 12 years old at the time. 12. And he's the one who called me. I talked about it in my first episode, the tragedy. He called me. And it's my job and my mission as his father to help him walk through the fire and come out on the other side and use this tragedy that our whole family has suffered to show the world, like I'm doing, that you can move forward, that it doesn't define you, that it doesn't destroy you. And I'll say here is I am so proud of that kid. He has battled through so much adversity, and seeing him grow into the young man that he is now, I'm just beyond proud as a father. And I know that hockey saved his life too. There's no doubt about it. I've seen it over the last few seasons. And talking about seasons, this last season that I coached is what really brought me out of the darkness. I was so focused on coaching my players and helping them grow as young men that I was able to forget my reality, forget my pain, forget that my heart was broken. I can't tell you how many countless days that I would coach or play and I would feel normal. And then on the drive home from the rink, so let's frame this. I live about 7-8 minutes from the rink with no traffic. And I would leave the rink and get in my car and I'd feel normal. I'd be feeling good. And then I'd start my car and start my drive and I'd get about halfway home. And then reality would hit me like a sledgehammer. My daughter's dead. My daughter's gone. Our lives are ruined. And I would cry like a baby. I would sob uncontrollably. Sometimes I would even scream out as loud as I can. Let me tell you something. When you lose a child, your soul screams out to the universe. It screams in agony. It screams in pain. It screams to heaven. Why, God? Why? How? No. No, God, no. The pain is just so deep. It cuts you to your core. Little by little, the guys I play with, the players I coach, and the friends I've made have started to heal me because they've loved me. They've supported me. They're some of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life, and I truly will be forever grateful. Forever grateful. You see, a lot of my friends backed away. A lot of my friends pulled back because they don't know what to say. It scares them. And I understand. Before I lost a child, I would meet somebody that did, and I would say, oh my God, to my wife, if that ever happened to us, I'd kill myself. I couldn't live through it. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can. It's horrible, but it definitely shows you what you're made of. It shows you what you're made of, and you can. And I don't wish it on anybody, not on my worst enemy in the world, ever. My goal in life, my hope, and there's that word, my hope is that no other parent ever has to go through what I've gone through. And I know, unfortunately, that's not the case. What I know is that I will be here, and my voice and my heart and my love will be here to help those parents live through this nightmare. I want to give back to what's been given to me. Back to my team that I coached this last season, we had such a huge transformation. And as they transformed, so did I. I just transformed right with them. And I want to share this moment with you. Here I am as their coach. Young men now this year, it's 14 and 13-year-olds. So they're going through puberty. They become young men. And I'm telling them, all these things. You've got to commit to being a great player. You've got to set routines. You've got to, follow through on your promises. You've got to work hard. You've got to do this, right? I'm saying all the right things. And I told my therapist and my coach this. As I'm saying it to them in the room, and I'm delivering it with passion and, belief, but in my own mind, I'm saying, yeah, well, you should be doing that too, Michael. Because in my own life, I wasn't. Yes, I was committed to hockey and coaching, but my work life was suffering. You see, because I work in finance. It can be mundane at times. I wasn't stepping up to my own plate. I wasn't living up to my own potential. And I remember this day as clear as day, and some of the other coaches in the room, I think they were taken back by my speech too. I stepped in front of the room and I said, listen, before we take the ice, I want to say something to you guys. Coach is a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. I'm standing here telling you guys to do all these things and live a certain way and step up to the plate. And I'm not doing it in my own life. And I'm here to tell you right now, that stops today. Starting today, I will lead by example. I will step up to the plate. I will be accountable. And I can still see the look in their eyes. First, it was shock, like, whoa. Maybe some of them was like, what's a hypocrite? I don't know what that is, right? But I think for them, I really feel like in our season, because we had started out really good and then we went through a slump, and I really, truly feel that in that moment began our transformation, mine and theirs together. You see, because our team went on to the finals, which we were a band of misfits, a bunch of kids who never played travel before and a handful that did. They played what I call in-house or rec league hockey, and we made it to the finals. And we lost in the finals, but we played damn well, but we also went to the state championships. For us to accomplish that was an amazing accomplishment. And it started, I believe, in that moment. And then I know what finished it is I came up with something for the kids, which was, I will. I can do this. I can do that. I can do this. I will do this. I will do this. I will do that. Right? So I made them all go home and write a list. I can. I will finish my checks. I will be first to the puck. I will give 100% on every shift, coach. I will be a leader in the room, on the ice. I will live up to what I promise myself and my teammates. Hockey is such a great teacher of life. It truly epitomizes what life is all about. Maybe that's why professionals love the game so much and miss it so much when they leave the game. It truly is an amazing game. So here's what I want to say as I wrap this one up. To this day, my family continues to receive love and support from our rink, the management, the parents, the players, the adults, the kids. I can't tell you, to this day, we just came off of Memorial Day, and the rink and the pro shop there did a sweatshirt and a jersey in honor of my daughter. It had a patch with her initials on it. And they'll never know what that means to me and my family. They'll never know the love that I feel and the pride that I feel that my daughter's memory has been taken on by so many. It fills my heart. It's like the cartoon The Grinch when his heart grows so big. It fills my heart with so much love. I'll never be able to repay it, but I try to by coaching the kids and showing up and being accountable and always doing what I say I'm going to do for these kids. That's how I try to repay it. To me, hockey will always be the greatest sport in the world. You see, it saved my life. It picked me up at my lowest point. It truly is more than a game. It's a family. It's a brotherhood. As I said before, I've always been a proud man,
raised by my parents to be independent and stand on my own 2 feet. I never liked getting help or asking for help from others. I will never be able to repay the game, the people, the families, the kids, but I will love them forever. Here's my promise. I will continue to coach and play and give back with everything I have because the game of hockey has given me so much. Thank you all for listening to this episode. And if you've never strapped on a pair of skates and played hockey, go give it a try. It's the greatest game there is. Thank you. I love you, Gab.